This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first two guests today are both from Friends Together. I have Judy Burns and Shelley Gibbs. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning.
Now, it's been some time since you've been on, and COVID has changed everything in everyone's world. So how's Friends Together dealing with COVID?
I think Friends Together met the challenge. We continued with Zoom with our support groups. We Zoomed with our board, we Zoomed with our staff, and we are slowly integrating in-person staffing as well as groups. So we are so excited that our folks followed the rules, and most have received their vaccines.
Good.
And in April, we'll go back to full in-group sessions. I think by that time we'll be ready, and they will be ready. Well, they're more than ready,
I bet.
Nancy. It's been a challenge, but I'm so proud of my staff and all of our survivors because they really made an effort to do the right thing so we could get back together again.
And Shelley, as every nonprofit group in the nation understands, fundraising, fund development, very important part of what keeps you alive and well. It's been very difficult during these times. How are fundraising efforts going for Friends Together?
Well, we have had to basically reinvent the wheel and be creative and come up with other ideas so that we could continue to raise money. Cancer doesn't stop, the need for the money doesn't stop, and every dollar that we raise goes right back out to the community to help cancer patients. So most recently we had our annual bowling event, and typically we would have 24 teams bowl all at the same time at the bowling alley. Well, with the restrictions, we couldn't plan for that. So we actually reached out to bowlers through social media, past bowlers, and asked them to create teams. We had 24 teams, and they all bowled within a 5-week period at their own time and schedule so that they could, go there and be comfortable with their group or family. So that was a huge success, and that ended on Monday of this week. And together with those 24 teams, we brought in $7,589. So
amazing.
It's actually one of the higher amounts from that event. So it just shows you that people are still willing to participate, to give, and it worked out really well. So
great. That
was kind of fun and a neat way to handle that. So, and we've had some events that we can't do. So we've decided to have a garage sale, a community-wide garage sale, which will be on May 15th and 16th. And that will be held at the bowling alley. There's a warehouse at the back of it that most people wouldn't know about.
It's huge.
It is huge. And so we are collecting donations, and by appointment we can meet people there if they have items to donate. So we're looking forward to that. It will be called Rally in the Alley. So you can be watching for that. It will be marketed very soon. And we're having an online auction, so through Bidding Owl. So you can watch for those details, and we're taking auction items. So we're just moving forward, making it happen and doing the best that we can.
And Judy, a lot of times people feel, well, I'm struggling, I can't really do a lot to help, but a gas card can make a difference in someone's life.
Absolutely. One of the things we offer is a transportation service with 2 vans on the road with volunteer drivers who've been certified to drive our folks, and also the gas cards. We give out literally thousands of dollars of gas cards, and we know the crunch, the financial toxicity of cancer. We just want to make it easier, and we want to make sure they get treatment. That's always been one of my goals ever since my daughter was diagnosed, that you feel alone, and how are you going to get to where you need to go?
And Judy, going back to the support groups and the feeling alone, that's so very true. A cancer diagnosis, shakes you to your core, shakes you to your roots. How do you go on? How do you survive day after day? And to be able to meet with people who are doing it, who've been there and done that, I mean, it can make all the difference in the world.
It's one of the most gratifying experiences I have every week is the joy that we can bring, and they bring to us as we meet. They know they're not alone.
All right, and give me an idea of some of the support groups that you do have.
Oh, well, we have a grief support group on Thursday evenings, a ladies and gents group on Tuesday evenings, caregiver group on Tuesday evenings, women on Wednesdays during, at least we started now, they have a small group that meets on Wednesday at noon
Okay.
and one in the evening. New to Friends Together, starting in May, is another grief support group, which will be during the day, and it's called Good Grief. And we've brought on board another social worker to facilitate that group and also
good.
work with families.
And we have a men's group that meets
Guys
on
like us,
Wednesdays
yes.
also.
Yes.
Yes.
And now, what about the event in the spring where everybody can participate and get their name on the back of a T-shirt?
Well, we have our major campaign that we launch every year, and so right now we're kind of bringing in the tail end of that, and you can get a sponsorship level anywhere from $250 up to as high as you want to go. And we have different things that you get with that package, whether it be like a billboard on State Avenue at our building. You can get your name on our T-shirt, depends on the level, your name or your logo. You're on our website. There's a link to your website from there. And just a lot of really great things that we offer. We have check presentations, social media posts, ads in the newspaper, like with check presentations. We'll do whatever we can to promote the businesses and people that also support us. And it can be people that want to support it in memory of a loved one that may be passed. So we have several people that do that. And so, we have lots of creative ways to do that. And another thing is with the gas cards is we are doing a gas card challenge right now.
Oh,
and
okay.
gas cards can be dropped off at LaFay Pharmacy. So if you don't want to get out of your car, you can drive right through their drive-through and give it to the people and the staff at LaFay Pharmacy, and they collect them for us. So it's a good partnership. We're going to have a drop box at our office soon too that you would be able to slide those into as well.
Okay.
So some really great ways to give gas cards or monetary donations that reflect for the gas cards that will purchase them for you.
And any diagnosis of a serious illness, it means time off work, it means using all of your sick time, it means traveling back and forth, it means your spouse being off work, your
Right.
caregiver. There's so many costs and things. It's so wonderful just to know that you can take part of that worry off of their mind.
Yes, yeah. Peace of mind is everything. How can we heal
Yes.
if we don't have that peace?
And we also provide overnight lodging. If a patient has to go to Ann Arbor or Midland or Saginaw and they have to be at their doctor's appointment or their testing at 7 o'clock in the morning, we will pay for overnight lodging for them the night before so that they can be there and rest before they have to go to their appointment or surgery.
Very good. Very good. So what's the best way right now with COVID for people to get in touch with you, Judy?
Oh my goodness, please call us at 356-3231. You can email me at judy@friendstogethermi.org. Stop in the office. We are very careful with our visitors. You are protected. Just call in, walk in, check in. We are there for you.
Thank you both very much for being here, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you, Nancy.
Please stay tuned. I'll be right back with some information from Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary following these messages. Hi, welcome back. My last guest today is my friend Katie Wolf from Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Nancy.
So I know behind the scenes you folks are working like crazy over at NOAA and all kinds of wonderful things are happening, but right now you're doing something new because it's Women's Month. So let's talk about that.
So it's Women's History Month, and in honor of that, we are having a webinar series that's Women Making History. So there are women who are alive and active today. Oftentimes when we think of history, we
Right.
think of the past. But these are women who are making, breaking and making their own, record and tracks. And so we had one last Thursday, and we'll have another one coming up this Thursday. Her name is Alexandra Rose. Pretty phenomenal lady. If you go on our Facebook, the Friends of Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary Facebook, you can read about her. But she is she's a Explorers Club Fellow, which the Explorers Club has been around since like 1904. But they didn't let women in until the it's just been in the past 40 years. But it's to really encourage people to explore. But what Alexandra does that's unique is, one, she's a photographer, a writer, a researcher, and a PADI dive master. And so she brings all of her background to her travels And then it tells that story of how important it is to protect our oceans and our inland waters as well. So she has traveled to all kinds of very remote places, in some of the hottest places in the world and some of the coldest places in the world. And what she's found in some of the most remote islands that are not anywhere, are miles and miles away from civilization, covered in plastic. And so, but her photography also covers the magical underworld waters too. I mean, incredible photography of corals and aquatic life, and she's really an extraordinary person. So we're excited about having her.
Yes.
So if you want to participate on the webinar, you can just go, if you go to our Facebook page or you go to our website, and you'll see a link there. You need to register.
Okay.
And then when you register, you'll get access to the webinar. And in fact, if you missed and want to see the one that we had last week, which was also phenomenal, Jennifer Idle was last week, and she's traveled to all 50 states and led diving expeditions.
Ooh.
And discovered some really cool things in places like Tennessee, a type of fish there. And so her focus is really, explore what's nearby, and like the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary, that there's opportunities right there to have incredible underwater experiences. So either of those webinars, if you just Google National Marine Sanctuary webinars.
Okay.
Then you'll go directly, you'll see the link there, and you'll be able to see all the different webinars. I mean, there's hundreds that are posted there, but you could go directly to the Women Making History webinars. And
well, I'll definitely do that.
yeah, they're recorded, so you can watch. If you miss it, you can go back and watch, those that you have not had a chance to see. So it really is a wonderful way to learn about the world.
Okay, and you have a brand new website.
We do. It just went live yesterday.
Okay.
And Sarah Waters on our staff has been working very closely with our national headquarters. It's completely different, like super visual, and a lot of video, 360 degree video,
Wow.
so you feel like you're immersed in the water. There's those types of video programs for pretty much I think every shipwreck in Thunder Bay. So if you don't get a chance to dive them, now you can go to our website and have that
Ooh.
experience. It is really, really neat.
And I thought your website was wonderful before.
Oh, now, I mean, I can only imagine how this website can be used in the classroom, because it is so visual for the students. And then one of the new things also on it is, if you've seen the Great Lakes Maritime Heritage Trail signs up, well, now you can travel along on the map from Tawas all the way up to Hammond Bay and see where all the signs are and learn about them. I mean, it's a map, it's like a story map, so that you can go to different sites and see, the signage that's there and the resources. And so that's another thing. If you decide you don't know what to do on the weekend, you can start from Tawas and take that whole trail and then have a guided map with you.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you're doing some wonderful expansion projects.
We're anxious for spring. It's going to be a buzzing place. So right now, inside the sanctuary building, we are putting in a catering kitchen, and that will really help with events. While we had a small staff kitchen before, this will be a professional catering kitchen, so that will be right off of the main meeting areas. So when people have events and things, it'll make it a lot nicer for them. So we're excited about that. And then additionally, as soon as the weather allows, we will be doing doubling the size of our roof deck.
Wow.
And if you haven't been up on the roof deck, it's a green roof deck, so we have succulent plants that border it, and those succulent plants serve as stormwater management. They also serve as a bee and butterfly pollinator garden, and for habitat. I mean, birds and things like that can get seeds in that area. So it's really lovely. But one of the things I love the most is the view. It is absolutely the most beautiful view. You get to see the footbridge and then the Thunder Bay River and a gorgeous skyline line of Alpena. And it gets the sunset. It's a really special place for events.
So what about any need for volunteers right now?
Well, we definitely need volunteers. I would say stay tuned, because we have some events coming up.
Okay.
I think you've heard me talk about North Point. It's a property that we
Right.
bought, or we haven't bought it yet. The Nature Conservancy bought it,
Right.
and they're going to deed it to the Friends pretty soon. And there's some invasive species there that we want to get volunteer groups to help us remove. And it's a very, very special place. It's one of the, well, for the Nature Conservancy, which is international,
Yes.
it was one of their top priority places to make sure that it was purchased and put in the hands of an entity that would conserve and protect it. So it is, there's some fish habitat off the shores of that area for whitefish, so
Oh,
we want to make sure
wonderful.
that's protected.
So
Lots of
watch
shipwrecks, too.
Facebook or watch the website or listen
Yes.
to media, or because you'll be announcing when you need
Yes.
those volunteers.
So you want to make sure that you follow the Friends of Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary Facebook page, as well as the NOAA Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary Facebook page. There are two different sites. The NOAA site covers more of the science research and events that deal with the diving, where the Friends covers things that are, events and, for the community. It's a little more community focused.
Okay, we're out of time. I want to thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to get home and look at that new website.
Oh, thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Katie. Please stay tuned for Dr. Don McMaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College. Pleased to have as our guest this morning Amanda Sumricks, director of the SIP grant at ACC, which has a very important, timely piece in it that we're going to talk about today. And this is the contracted counselor position.
Yes, good morning, thank you. So last fall, we decided to kind of focus on students' mental health and kind of see where they are. We know that throughout the past year, with all the events going on, a lot of people had increased anxiety and stress, and we wanted to check in with our students to see how we could help them. So last fall, just to kind of get a baseline of where they're at, we sent out a survey to students and wanted to know how they were feeling. We got a pretty staggering response. Almost 300 of our students responded, and that includes both the Alpena and the Escoda campuses. And about 30% of them said that they were feeling very stressed, that they would rate their mental health as poor or very poor. And when we asked what services ACC could provide to help them, approximately 60% requested mental health counseling or some type of service like that on campus.
Wonderful. So a high response rate, which is abnormal for a survey, and a number of folks indicating a need for somebody to talk to during this stressful time of the pandemic.
Right.
Makes perfect sense. So
Yes.
then what happened?
So after that, we started looking into what the process would be to get a counselor on campus. We wanted this to be easily accessible to students, so we looked into the SIP grant funding this, which was approved, and so we started going through finding a counselor that could be contracted to provide this service. So we did end up finding one, and we started providing this service to students about a month ago. We contracted with Carrie Schiller. She's a licensed master social worker. She has her own private practice here in Alpena, Northern Therapeutic Center, and so she seems to fit perfectly. Our students are very happy to have this service, and it's even better that it can be free to them. We don't have to worry about health insurance or anything like that.
That is wonderful, and great work on your part and your colleague Lisa Blumenthal.
Yes.
The concern many folks have, myself included, during this period is anxiety that's unchecked and leads to, catastrophically sad and unfortunate results. And your work and Lisa's has helped kind of mitigate that, or at least give people an outlet who may be feeling those kind of overwhelming feelings.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Lisa was a huge help with it. She researched a lot into what other schools are doing. You could see a lot of counselors and counseling centers and universities and four-year colleges, and they're in some community colleges, but not all of them. So we wanted to be on par with that and help our students. Part of the SIP grant focuses on helping the student as a whole, and providing those non-academic services. Because if a student's in class and thinking about their anxiety or what's going on at home, then they're not going to be able to focus academically. So we want to make sure that before they drop out of class or drop out of college or something worse, that we can help them right away.
That is such an important point, and you're right. The SIP grant does have that piece in it. And they were very compassionate and on top of it to recognize that this piece could be applied to this need. These are what grants do when they're well run. They have a certain resourcefulness. And so what would be the process if I'm a student watching this interview to reach out and get service?
So the process right now, we're working on setting up a email just for the counselor and for the counseling center, but the process would be to email Lisa Blumenthal, and her email is blument@alpinacc.edu. We've also emailed all students a link to the counseling form where they can request an appointment, and it's on our social media accounts. So we're trying to get the word out, and we've been pretty booked. We're starting slow, just offering 2 hours a week, but we're booked, through the middle of April right now. Students are really taking advantage of it, and we're sending some evaluation forms afterwards that are confidential, just so that we can get some feedback and make sure that we're doing a good job. And the students' responses have been very positive. They've said the counselor's really helping them. They feel like they can get back to their life and focus on school, and the coping skills and techniques she's helping them with are just really outstanding.
Wow, what a great, I wasn't aware of that you were doing a survey, and the feedback is exactly what we hoped it would be.
Yes, and Carrie, our counselor, mentioned that around town, and I'm sure around the country right now, trying to find a counselor is really hard. You're booked 2 or 3 months out. One student mentioned on the forum that they were looking for a counselor before this, and right when we offered it was perfect timing for them. They couldn't find a counselor anywhere else, so I'm happy we could provide that.
I am too. You had referenced the universities and the opportunities that folks often have at a four-year school for this type of service, and that is indeed true. Mm-hmm. Most four-year schools have a kind of a cluster of folks that are doing this sort of support work. Community colleges often don't, and that is one of the reasons, frankly, that our education costs 30 to 40% what a university education costs. Mm-hmm. These sorts of things that are built in, but the need for students to succeed and thrive and be healthy is paramount.
Yes.
And so you and Lisa have found a way to provide something. I'm proud of you and happy about it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're happy to have your support. And Carrie Schiller, the counselor, she has a lot of experience talking to and counseling students and people in this time in their life going through college. I know personally, before I went off to college, my family and a lot of family friends told me, this is a real growing experience. It's a transformative time. And at that time, I remember I was like, oh no, I'm done growing, whatever. And after my first semester even, I realized what they were talking about. So a lot of students are going through that same thing, and I'm happy we can provide the support for them, and that Carrie has experience with this time in their life.
Yes, I'm happy too. And congratulations. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Carrie. I thank you folks for watching Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host, Nancy Smitham and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.